Good morning, everyone. Respected dignitaries on the dais, guests, faculty members, and my dear students. It has been our practice to invite experts and experienced professionals from various fields to guide our students and inspire them. Today, we are privileged to have amongst us one such personality, Sri Tukaram Munde Sir, IAS, who has inspired many people to walk on the path of ethics and honesty. This function today has been organized by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Museum and Memorial. Let me take this opportunity to invite Mrs. Sanjeevani Muzumdar, Director, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Museum and Memorial, to give the welcome address.
Respected Shri Tukaram Mundeji, Dr. Muzumdar, Dr. Vidya, Dr. Jyoti Chandiramani, and my dear colleagues and students. I welcome you on behalf of Ambedkar Museum and Memorial. Today's chief guest, Shri Tukaram Mundeji, he is a role model for all of you UPSC and MPSC aspirants. He always think of common people's interest. I always respect such honest and hardworking officers. India needs such officers to improve the whole system of corruption. I once again thank him for accepting our invitation and
Request Dr. S.B. Muzumdar Sir, founder, Symbiosis, and Chancellor, Symbiosis International University, to felicitate our chief guest for today, Sri Tukaram Munde Sir. We are privileged to have amongst us Dr. S.B. Muzumdar Sir today. Known as the father of international students in Pune, Padma Bhushan Dr. S.B. Muzumdar Sir sowed the seeds of internationalization by establishing Symbiosis in 1971, an organization established for the welfare of international students. Sir, may I now request you to address the gathering.
It is very rarely that this auditorium is full of spectators. That only shows the popularity of today's chief guest, Sri Tukaram Munde. Thank you so much for sparing your time, coming all the way from Bombay early in the morning, gracing this unique occasion, and most importantly, participating in question and answer session, which is eagerly waited by our students. Friends, today's chief guest has been nicely introduced by Mrs. Muzumdar. Officially, he is known as man on a mission. But to me, he is an uncommon IAS officer with honesty, integrity, courage, and above all, a man of action. There are many instances which will support my statement. And since because of lack of time, I want Mr. Munde to give more time and you to ask question answer. But suffice it for me to say about 2 or 3 incidences. Dr. Munde was appointed as Chief Executive Officer of Nagpur. Soon after taking charge, he visited schools. And to his surprise, he found that many teachers were absent. And the percentage of absenteeism was 10 to 15%, you can imagine, which means there were classes without teachers, there were classes without students, there were classes without both students and teachers. When he saw this plight of teachers and education, what did he do? Normally, he would have appointed perhaps a committee. You would have made an inquiry discreetly. But no. As I told you, he is a man of action and he suspended all absent teachers on same day. And what was the effect of it? The absenteeism of teachers later on came down from 10 to 15% to just 1 to 2%. Give him hand. Number 2, he was appointed as collector of Solapur. And being collector, he was also the president of temple committee. And as you know, Pandharpur is the place of Vitthal Mandir, Wari, which starts from Alandi, Dehu, and those people, thousands and lakhs of people walk from Alandi to Pandharpur. Well, as president of temple committee, he realized that when 10 to 15 lakh people are aggregated at one place, there is a danger of epidemic. Because they were defecating in the open near Bhima river. And there was not only pollution, but likelihood of spread of many epidemic diseases. He was amazed. He had a concern for what these workers. Somehow he wanted to prevent this. What he did, what you would have done had you been in his place. Just in 21 days, can you imagine? He constructed 3,000 toilets. 3,000 toilets. Not only that, but he closed darshan of Vitthal. And except Chief Minister, he did not allow anybody to go inside. Give him your hand. Then he was a story of Dr. Munde in Navi Mumbai. And he coined a beautiful management, I would say management, technique, management principle in action. He said he led the practice of walk with the commissioner. Commissioner, instead of sitting in the office, air-conditioned office, as many officers do, his style was management by walking. And so he used to take round along with others. And he realized that there was big traffic problem. Hawkers were there. Again, his mind was in turmoil. In few days' time, he cleared it. People were happy. But Nagar Sevaks were not happy. Naturally. And so, those who were unhappy succeeded in transferring Sri Mundi. Will you believe that the entire civil population came together and told Chief Minister not to transfer Sri Mundi. So he had support of common man. And incidentally, I will tell you a story of common man. This is our Tukaram Mundi. This is our chief guest today. And you are very, very lucky to get ignited from him, to get inspired from him. And I am sure a day will come, and it has to come, when there will be thousands and thousands of Tukaram Mundis in India. You must have read what happened in Bangladesh. Reservation, unemployment, and a day will come, and that day did come in Bangladesh. Corruption, reservation, admission to a particular family, particular class. There is no objection to that. But in general, there was unrest among youth, especially among students. Among students, I repeat. And you know what happened? No army can prevent them. No prime minister, no president can stop them. Because unrest was such. And I can see it today among our youth. And the only persons who can stop that, as I told you, officers like Munde. He has courage. You know, some people are honest but not courageous. Some people are intelligent but they don't take action. But courage, intelligence, action, they are all combined in one person. And this person came from not Pune, Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta, Madras, Chennai. He came from a remote village. His father was a farmer, as told to you by Mrs. Mazumdar. And I am told that he has a brother called, his name is Ashok. He is also a collector. Can you imagine? A farmer family producing two sons who are IAS, who are collectors. I call it rural talent. And this rural talent, my dear students, is the future of our country. Future of our country, because they are the ones who are tough. I am sure that Shat Munde must have faced many problems. He must not have good nutrition diet. He must not have comfortable study room. He used to go to farm, help his farmer. And where did he study? Not in missionary school, not in public school, not in English medium school. He studied in just Jilla Parishad Marathi medium school. So please don't undermine schools in rural areas. Munde Sahib, I myself have found that very often the teachers in rural schools are more dedicated. They want their students to come up. And so, my dear students, please study the rural economy, rural talent, and some management experts should find out ways and means to discover the rural talent. And here is our chief guest who represents that sometimes adversity is the mother of prosperity, progress. So there are many lessons for you young men to learn from today's chief guest. I said I will not take much time, but I did take much time. Forgive me. But because there are many things boiling in my mind. Thank you so much for your patient learning and thank you for your good time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for giving us a glimpse and sharing anecdotes of the extraordinary work done by Sri Tukaram Munde, sir. It is said that India's development is all about its villages and not its cities. And sir, the term that you coined today, rural talent, is so true and apt for our chief guest for today. Mrs. Muzumdar ma'am has already introduced Sri Tukaram Munde, sir. I can only say that, sir, You're an inspiration to all of us and especially the young minds today. Sir, may I now request you to kindly address the gathering.
Thank you for very generous and kind words about me. Ladies and gentlemen and friends, I'm really honored to be here today. I miss you to speak to you on the topic, the change maker. You must definitely have noticed the auditorium in which you are sitting, and the brain behind it is none other than Dr. Mazumdar, who was the change maker in 1970s, when he could envision, create a vision to start a private college, which later on became Deemed University. Now it has got almost national level presence with multiple schools, multiple faculties, multiple locations. So it has become a pan-Indian phenomenon. And this was a person when in 1970s he was staying in Pune, and I'm told that he was in Ferguson College. And because of some incidents, it occurred to him that he has to do something and change the situation. In the socialist India, in 1970s, when their socialism was prevailing, we could not have thought of a private education, or private college, or private institutions. So I don't need to dwell much upon him than the word, the change maker. That's him. That's how the stature of this man is and the institutions he has created. Now, having said that, he has given example of Bangladesh, and that's true because revolutions, new ideas always spring up from the young. And when I say young, it means young minds. And young minds do not have age. Young minds have ideas, new thoughts, new processes by which there will be change and transformation in the society, in the institutions, in the country. That needs to be enlightened. That is what happened in Europe in medieval times, Renaissance movement. That's what happened during our independence movement. That's what happened in Maharashtra, particularly you are in Pune. It was a nerve center of intellectual movement. So we had social reform movements in Maharashtra. That's why Maharashtra is different from many other states in India. It's much more progressive because of the intellectual, the ideas, the change makers. I'm going to tell you certain stories which are related to me, because everybody likes stories. And there are many stories going around me. Some are right, some are wrong, some partly right, partly wrong. So I remember in 2007, I think this is August, yes, in August itself, after completion of 2-year training at Yashoda and district and back, Mussoorie district back to Mussoorie, and before going to the field as assistant collector, we come to Yashoda for 1 week debriefing from Mussoorie. And from there we get posting, and then we go to our respective places. So that was the week when we were waiting for our posting, the first post, the excitement to go to the field, work something, do something new, or maybe enjoy with the vehicle, the beacon, all the facilities. So that was always there in the air. And I think it was in somewhere in 3rd week of August, me along with my batchmates, which all of us were 5 in 2005 batch. So we were expecting the posting, doing debriefing session in Yashoda. And around, I think, Thursday or Wednesday, we came to know we have been posted. I was told by my batchmates that you are the luckiest one because you are getting in Sangli, the Western Maharashtra, so-called prize postings. As would it happen, everybody was happy, the first posting. We were supposed to join that posting, I think, next 2 to 3 days. So debriefing was to be completed on Friday. So after Friday evening or Saturday, we were to leave to the respective places. My district collector, the then district collector, because this happened to be in the division, and Pune being a divisional headquarter of Sangli, he sent the vehicle of that post assistant collector to me so that I can travel by the vehicle. It reached Friday night in Pune. We are happy because as per the protocol, I had to meet the divisional commissioner first and then go to the district. So I think on Saturday, those days, some 2 Saturdays were working and 2 were off. Nowadays it is 5 days a week. At that point it was not 5 days, 6 days and 5 days. I think 2nd and 4th were off and 1st and 3rd were working. This was the situation then. So I went to divisional commissioner office with the excitement that after that I'll leave to Sangli. Once I reached there, I came to know that I'm not supposed to join the posting which was there in Sangli district. So the climax and the anticlimax. This is how change happens, good or bad. But that's not a change. That's just a part of the larger picture. All my batchmates, which till now were saying that you are the luckiest one, now I thought that I was the most unlucky because others had left to their respective districts and I was stranded waiting for my posting. So almost 8 days went by. There was some communication from divisional commissioner to chief secretary. In between, order changed, and then I was not given the post of assistant collector, which is generally for the IAS officer at the first posting, assistant collector come SDM. I was then posted as project director, ITDP in Dharni. That is a tribal development department's post where officers work for implementation of the different schemes of the tribal department. And of course, I was unhappy. Divisional commissioner also not happy because others had got assistant collector, which was necessary because that's a ground level field posting. We learn a lot of things from there and then you build on that. Somehow we took up the issue with the government. It required certain time and then got again that changed to assistant collector Deglur in Nanded. So you can understand my journey. Today we are talking about a lot of posting and transfers of me. It is right from the first posting itself. I don't know why, but it has happened. And at that point in time, that being the first posting, there was no reason. At least I thought that there was no reason that I should not be allowed to join a particular posting and then change and then change and then join. So I think certain things are beyond your control. So I have learned that lesson. We should not think much about postings and transfers. Having gone through this, I had to join. I think it came on 1st of September. My posting ultimately as assistant collector Deglur in Nanded district. So I was instructed by commissioner immediately you leave from here, go to Nanded, meet collector, and then go to your place. At that point in time, because that being different divisional commissioner, vehicle cannot come here as per the rule. So I took a bus from Shivaji Nagar bus stand to Aurangabad. Some of you might know that there were Asiad buses. So I traveled by that because that was better off than the Lal Pari, what we call. So that is also ST, this is also ST, but little bit more comfortable, seats are comfortable. Reach Aurangabad, took other bus. I reached by morning From there, I took other bus to Nanded, reached there, I think, around 11 o'clock, met the collector, got the briefing, because when you join certain new post, you get the briefing from the predecessors and the district collectors, what are the issues, what are the pressing issues we have to tackle, what is the situation there, what are the priorities of the government, what is the priority of the collector. And after joining and discussing with collector, then I left for Deglur from Nanded. I remember that, I think that was Saturday or maybe Friday. I reached Deglur by around 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening. And as we go, we generally stay in guest house till our quarter is ready or vacated by the earlier one. I went there and I went to washroom and wanted to freshen up. And I splashed water on my face, my eyes burned. म्हणजे आग झाली. Then I looked at water, there was muddy water. I came out, is there any problem? No, this is normal water. So when you say normal, it's a drinking water. Yes, this is drinking water supplied through piped water supply scheme to the city, that town. And that is a municipal council. Deglur is a sub-divisional headquarter. I said, maybe tank is not clean, please clean it up. So being assistant collector, they had to obey my orders, so tank was cleaned up. But not much of a change, maybe little bit color change, but the quality of water was the same. And it posed a question to me. If the situation is like this, if I cannot wash my face with the water, that water is being supplied to all the citizens of this place, which is managed by a municipal council. Next morning I go to the office, I inquire there again, what exactly is the issue. So this has been going on for, this is piped water supply, and there is no issue, sometimes there is a leakage, so maybe because of that it is there. I said, okay, fine enough, just call chief officer who heads the municipal council as administrator. I discussed with him. He said, there is no issue, this is normal. Now, this is where the issue is. As you and I, this is where the issue is. It is normal, I can tell him. He said that, okay, I will provide water to you by tank, which is much more pure, so that you don't have a problem. Now the issue before you, as a citizen, as a person, or as an officer, or a public authority is, do you accept this situation? Do you reject that situation? Or you want to make a change to that situation? And if you want to make a change, how do you make a change? Do you have the authority? Do you have the wherewithal? How much time it will take? These questions should arise in your mind, everybody's mind, instantaneously. And not only the question should arise, but there has to be a solution and consistent effort to go for that solution. The change maker is what? The meaning of change maker is to question the status quo for betterment. Do not accept as it is. If I had accepted, supposing you studying here, you just accept, oh, I am going to grade B, I am okay with grade B. You will never be going to grade A. Unless you question why you are in grade B. Why not in grade A? So that day I could have accepted, well, if this is there, it's a water supply, maybe there is some leakage, so that's the problem. And if I am getting the water for myself, why should I bother about the quality of water for other citizens? nothing would have happened. Nothing adverse would have happened to me, but definitely adverse would have happened to so many people who are going to be affected by this water which is not potable, not usable. So I decided to find out what exactly is the reason. I sent my officers that week, exactly let me know what exactly the issue. Go to the site from where, source from where water is being lifted, that is well, that is constructed fine enough, there is a motor pump, then the chlorination is there, but that is not proper. But the transportation of water with this supply line, there are leakages at multiple places, and that exactly is causing the problem. Then again I called chief officer, why can't you repair it? We don't have funds. So we have to send the proposal to the government, and once it is sanctioned, we will do it. So I thought, no, I will not let that issue lie down like that. I remember this is my first or second day of my joining of the first posting in my career. I mean, you must have heard stories of Solapur, but that is district training part. Actual first, I have never spoken about this incident till now. For the first time, I am telling you this in order to explain what the change maker means, what the change means, what the transformation means. So I decided I will tackle this. And we have to tackle it immediately. So then I said, you have to find out a way, go and discuss with your body, discuss with your engineers what is the way, how much estimate, how much you have money, and how within 8 to 15 days we can tackle this problem so that people get potable water. He said yes. 2, 3 went. Again I called him. Sir, we are following up with the UD department to sanction the fund so we can repair it. And I thought it's not going to work. So when you apply your mind, when you question status quo and we want to find a solution, just not questioning it. Questioning is easy because nowadays everybody says that there is a huge corruption. Everybody wants this corruption-free society, right? As I do, you also do. Oh, there is a corruption. When I go rickshawala, there is a problem in meter. He doesn't attend. He doesn't abide by rules. When I go to institutions, now the entrance exams, the paper leakage, all this, we want to change it and we abuse it like anything. We question it like anything. Is there anything wrong in that? Absolutely not. But it stops there, that is the problem, and that's not enough. Just questioning is not enough. Your work starts after finding the problem. Find the problem and leave it is not going to, that's not going to change the situation. Either it will worsen it or it will be stagnant. You and I, as citizen of this country, of this society, need not only to question the status quo, but also find a solution. Now, some of the solutions are with common people, some of them have to come from the authorities, some is with the societies, they have to come from all sources. But that will happen only when you have the desire and the will, and the most important, the will to work on it till it is achieved. So I decided I'll take up this issue because this, I think, if I cannot make a difference, being an IAS officer who is posted just now, has 2 years training in Mussoorie, you have been taught all the things. I have not come here just to say, fine enough, I'll follow up with the government and leave it, and whenever it comes, we'll solve it. If at that cutting edge, sub-district level or district level, highest authority in administration is IAS officer, either district collector or SDM, if he or she cannot change, the question that I ask myself is, who else can? The question I asked is, if I cannot, being an IAS officer, who else can? And it is not a question of just an IAS officer or a minister or a chief minister. It is the question everybody has to ask himself or herself. If I cannot, who else can? And if you ask that question, I think lot many things can be changed very quickly, very quickly. But the question is, do we ask? What you ask is, why me? My question is, why not me? So if I cannot, who else can? So as a ST assistant collector, I ask, if I cannot, who else can? Answer was, nobody else can. If nobody else, and if you can, why can't you? If there are other issues, please understand. Then I went on, as I told you, there were leakages in between. I had to find out a way, because the reason given was there is no fund available for repairs. It requires maybe some, whatever, 4, 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, whatever the amount is there. Then I gave a thought. And I came up with some idea. Next day, I issued a notice to two people. One was chief officer of the council, other was president of the council, Adhyaksh, Nagar Adhyaksh. Under section 133 of CRPC. Now this 133, I don't know, some of the law students are there. The old CRPC, now it has been changed. The section speaks about prevention of public nuisance. So I issued notice, by supplying non-potable water to the city, you are creating a public health hazard. And this is going to create public nuisance leading to law and order situation, because of which law and order situation will come up, why action should not be initiated against you for not providing potable water to the city. And I issued just not to chief officer, I issued to Nagar Adhyaksh and chief officer. Because if political will is not there, if the support of Adhyaksh is not there, even chief officer can't address the situation. Then they got the situation, they got the lawyers. I kept the hearing on particular day. All the lawyers came up, they pleaded. So we don't have funds. So I'm not asking whether you have funds or not. I'm asking, you are creating a public nuisance situation which is going to be a problematic for me and the city. So you have to answer me why action should not be taken against you, and that there are two parts to it. One is interim order and there is a final order. And once you issue an interim order, in that interim order you give directions, 1, 2, 3, these directions have to be followed by this date. And if you don't do, then there is incarceration. You can send that person to jail by passing the final order. So we don't have funds, this or that. I am not asking whether you have funds or not, I am asking why I should not initiate the proceedings. Requested for one more hearing, I gave next week's hearing. By this date, you have to come up with a solution, otherwise I am going to issue an interim order. And that too, before the next order, I should see some progress on the issue of distribution of this potable water, which right now we have the problems. Because I myself have said that my eyes burn. If my eyes burn, and if the same water is given to the people, that's going to create public health issue. Epidemic will be there, law and order situation will be there, and I will be forced to take action. By the time next hearing comes, they say that we have started preparing estimates on this, and then I dictated order saying that within 7 or 15 days, I don't exactly remember the days now, how many days I gave. If you do not provide clean water to the citizens through this water supply, I'll issue order under section 137, final order, which will be penal in nature along with this jail. That is the term I used. So they had 15 days where to bring the money, how to do it, how to get it sanctioned, how to do it, all these things. And I had done, because I think that was September, I said. So it was 3rd week of September, maybe even 15 days or a Diwali. I said that before Diwali I want potable water to every citizens of this town. Why I did that? It was not something arbitrary order. It was very well thought up order. Because I realized, I got the information, when I got that there are leakages in between. One day early in the morning, without telling anybody, I went to the place from where the water was being lifted, the well. It was well. It was constructed well. There was chlorination was not proper. That was one finding. Secondly, while coming at 2-3 places, there was leakage and big leakages. So while going across the roads, you will find that there is big showers where the pipe is broken like that. Then I asked my people to find out whose farm is this. And that farm belonged to that Nagar Adhyaksh. So all the orchards there, irrigation of the farm was being done through the water supply of this pipeline which was broken. And the city was being held responsible in the guise that this is broken. So I knew this. So now the only way was to teach them the lesson in their own language. That's why I resorted to section 133. Generally, section 133 is rarely used, and I don't remember anybody other than me would have used in Maharashtra for these purposes. I don't think so. During British time, there was one officer who had used it. There was absolute drought, food shortage was there, and the train was moving from his district to other, and he did not get the quota of his district. So what he ordered under 133, stop the train. 133 is a section by which you can do anything in the world except converting man into woman and woman into man. I really mean it. You can do any damn thing because that's a public nuisance and you can order it and you have to abide by it. So that section I use. I said, then they realized the gravity, now you have to do it, and it came to know. And I said, okay, I know where the leakages are. They are in your farm. You are using this water for irrigation and holding the city ransom. Within 8 days, the pipeline was repaired. Pure water was supplied. Diwali was celebrated in Deglur village, Deglur town. Now the question is, you will say that, yes, you had the authority, you did it, right? Obviously, I had the authority, that's why I did it. But the same authority in same situation was before me also. I did not something new. It was going on for years together. What prevented those authorities to take action and rectify the situation? Only thought. Whether you want to be a change maker or you want to be cynical. Everybody is cynical. After 75 years of independence, nothing is being done. Everybody is corrupt. Government just imposes taxes. In return, we don't get anything. You can debate lot many things. The question is, can I and you start venturing in the area of change making? Do you want to be change maker or you want to be status quoist? That is the situation. I'll give you another example. The same place. I remember, that's the first posting. When I joined, then, of course, one of the issues, village areas, at that point in time, now also, is civil supplies. Swasthya Dhanya Dukandar. Kerosene, wheat, sugar, monthly quota. Government provides it. For every village, there are number of families, number of cards are there, APL cards are this much, BPL are there. The quota is decided, it is distributed to them, and it is expected to give it to at subsidized rate to the people who are actually beneficiaries. But everybody cries that it doesn't reach the targeted beneficiaries. So the PDS system started way back. Then we get into TPDS, because targeted PDS, because we have to target the people, we have to reach there. then revised PDS, schemes after schemes. The question is implementation. The intention of the scheme is very clear. Objectives are very clear. How to implement it? There are, say, in subdivision 500 villages, 300 villages. How do I supervise that every shopkeeper, fair shop price, FSA, we call it fair price shop, we call it, Swastadanya Dukandar, he will take his designated data, allocated goods from a particular place, take it to the village and distribute at that particular prices, and that too in time. So I had a big question. The complaints were there. So I was discussing with my officers what is to be done. So we'll raids. Okay. How many raids you have done till now? So many raids. What is found? Nothing. There is a complaint. By the time we go, no, it's not there. We cannot prove in the court of law. Okay. What is the other way? Cancel the licenses. We don't. Okay. How many have done till now? Many have been done. Is it effective? No. For some time it happens, we cancel, we attach from one village to the other village, but still the problem is not solved. Instead of that person, some other person takes over and goes into black market. There must be some way by which you can tackle it. Then I studied the system, because every taluka or every village is attached to a particular fair price shop. So it has 1,000 citizens or 1,000 families, whatever the number is. Every family gets a particular quota, 1 kg sugar, 2 liter kerosene, this much wheat is there fixed. And that quota is already decided at district level, at state level, and accordingly that data, that quota is released to him. The first thing what we need to observe is that lifting of that goods, wheats, or your sugar or kerosene had to be between 1st of the month to 21st of the month. We cannot lift after 21st. Why? I'll come to that. Secondly, once that is lifted, when it is lifted and when it has to be, that has to be tracked. You are lifting from a go down at district level and it is reaching the village. So that time travel is say 6 hours. So whether he is reaching that destination 6 hours or not, that has to be checked. And thirdly, whether he has supplied that and given that, yes, utilization certificate, on that basis, next month's quota will be released to him or her. Was being followed? Was this being followed? On paper, yes. In practically, no. But the whole system is there, so if I start just taking action against 1 or 2, I'll be able to tackle problem 1 or 2 or some few villages. It's not a systemic change per se. So I wanted to change it systemically. So what happened, I thought of an issue by which let us start targeting first kerosene, because that being a border district, Andhra Pradesh on the other side, most of the black marketing from Marathwada region as a whole used to go from my place to Andhra Pradesh. So that was the corridor for the whole of Marathwada. So I thought, okay, there is a route. Most probably these are the 2-3 routes by which vehicles or these tankers of kerosene will be diverted. These are the places which will be selling mostly. And then I thought, what can be the best possible way to find out who are the black marketers, what is the black modus operandi. In black market, there is one given principle. You need assured supply at assured time. Unless you get assured supply and assured time, you cannot rely, because they have to earn profit. They have to sell in market. And what is the best time? 21st to 1st. Because at that time we cannot lift. We are supposed to, the shopkeeper has supposed to distribute it. So I observed, and then I started getting intelligence. Because by that time, I think 3-4 weeks had happened. So people started approaching me. They realized that if I go there, problems are solved. So anonymously, I used to get letters or SMS or phone call, or they come to me and tell me, this is where it is happening, this shopkeeper is diverting. So one day I came to know, around 21st, the tanker is standing in this petrol pump for last 2 nights. and that's going to be diverted, but there is some issue, that's why it's not being either taken away, but it's standing there and it's full. I got report from district offices whether this has been given. Yes, that has been taken. It's a tanker number is there. If I disclose it to my officers, it's likely that it will be leaked and operation cannot go on. If I tell the police officer, same thing will happen. So I had to do myself. Believe me, throughout the day I deployed one of the competent persons next to the petrol pump in a dhaba. He used to stay throughout day and night there, just watching it, whether it's moving or not, just start moving, tell me, nothing more than that. He might get caught, so every day I had to change the person. So 2-3 days it happened, and during night, because if I get a call, by the time if I go, that may sneak away. So I used to go around 11 o'clock in the night, in my vehicle, only driver and me, sleep in the vehicle for 3 nights, inside the road area, so that nobody watches. If somebody watched me, they will get doubt. So 3 nights I spent like that. Night 11 to 6 in the morning, just 100 meters away from the petrol pump where the vehicle was. So this starts moving, I wanted to catch it red-handed. 4th day, around 1 o'clock, on the recce, police vehicle came there and they saw my vehicle in the night. They didn't know that was my vehicle because that was a private vehicle. So they started questioning driver, and then they saw me. They realized, oh, I am here. So why are you here? And then if I tell again that a problem there, no, nothing is there. We are getting some information. You carry on your work. Go to this side. So they left, but I had a doubt by next day morning, it will be leaked. Because this black marketing cannot take place in isolation. It always has a team effort. It is a nexus. It is a nexus. It cannot happen. Very clearly. One person cannot do it. There have to be people from inside the system, outside the system. The consumers will have to be there. The purchaser, black marketer will have to be there. The seller will have to be there. And the supplier will have to be there. So all these 4-5 elements come together, then it will happen. So I realized that by the time if I leave it, it's most likely leaked and whole operation will end up. So around 7 o'clock in the morning, I directly from there caught that tanker, took it to my office, and the rest procedure I followed. It was shock, but nobody expected this will happen. Within 1 hour after reaching home around 8 o'clock, I get a call from collector, congratulating me that you have busted the biggest racket. I said, thank you. But still I don't know within half an hour how the information went to him. I'm yet to find out. Once that happened, because this tanker and driver is not important to me. The person who is handling is important to me. The creator, the real person. By the evening, I had created link because I had already worked on that and filed FIR against that person, not against the tanker. Then that person had to be sent to the jail and the big racket was closed and blah, blah, blah things happened. The issue is, many advise, why did you take that risk? Anything could have happened to you. In between there were threats, after that also there were threats. There was allurement. Why are you catching? That's a big industry. Whole Marathwada is there. There are big players. How many days you are going to be there? Leave it. If you want to find finance, and leave it. Now, your choice is whether you should venture into it, one. Number two, what are you going to achieve by this? the impact of this and the systemic changes I made after that was one of the changes because as I say, assured supply. There is a dealer, there is a sub-dealer, and there is a caterer. So there is a link. So I started randomization. Every month, dealer to sub-dealer will be changed. Link is broken. Sub-dealer to caterer is changed. Link is broken. So nobody knows next time who is my dealer and who is my sub-dealer so that I can assured get it. So link is broken. Secondly, 21st, nobody will, from the go down, district go down, nobody will give that goods to anybody after 21st of that month. And thirdly, unless there is certificate by Gram Panchayat, signed by Sarpanch and others that distribution of these goods and services have taken place to the citizens at prescribed rate with proper meeting, they will not get the goods and the license will be cancelled. The whole effect of this was within 1 month, complaints stopped, not even a single complaint. Everybody used to get full the quota and everybody was happy. Now, why I am telling you this? Why I am telling you this? Again, for me, it may not be much important. For the common person, it is bread and butter. If he or she does not get feed at that rate, they cannot afford their food. The kids may go to bed without food. That is the situation we have to work on. And the last example from that I'll give you, as you know, sand mining is a big issue. Everybody loves sand mining. I mean everybody. Whether it's a dealer or the people. And it has environmental impact, it has revenue losses, everything is there. And that area again, there is a Godavari river, interborder, huge sand is in demand. Auctions are there, September, October auctions take place and that's sold in the market. But more excavation than allowed, illegal mining, everything take place. So when I joined, I started fining. There is a 1-time fine, 2-time fine, up to 3 times you can fine the violators. So tractors are there, fine. First I fine 1,000 per tractor, second time I fine 3,000, third time 5,000. So they found out a way. Instead of tractors, they started carrying on donkeys. Really? Because tanker can be found, donkey, how can you verify? So on the sacks of donkeys, I started. And then I came to know, yeah, this is the mechanism, because I was surprised. There are no tractors. Where is it? I inquired, then I came to know. Now they have changed the means. They will transport by donkeys. So what do we do with it? Can I catch the donkeys and keep it? Tractor I can catch, truck I can catch, fine it as per Motor Vehicle Act. What I can do with the donkey? So I said, okay, fine enough. To find out the owner is also difficult if I want to fine. If sand you are taking, which is illegal, this is a fine. Who do I fine? Once caught, nobody is the owner. So there was an issue. So I devised a means, the way through which it was coming to the city, I appointed a squad. Any donkey carrying this, you have to just send it back and empty it in the river. For every situation, you will have to find out solution. You cannot have a solution. Then it reduced. Of course, then, okay, squad works in the day. What happens in the night? So they started transporting in the night. So somehow we were able to find out the owners of those in 10-15 days. And then I told them that if I find your donkey carrying any time this sand, whatever the sand is excavated, total fine will be on you. And you will say that I don't have money, I'll sell your donkeys and recover through it. So these means we'll have to find out solutions. So that reduced. But then there is a demand for construction. And as this started tightening up, the interest which was telling that they started creating there is no availability of sand. So this issue was raised with the minister, the collector, and everybody. This officer is, what you can say, arrogant. He doesn't understand the requirements. He stopped mining. Our total development work has stopped because of that. So this twist comes up, which is always unexpected. He is anti-development. So that campaign was being run. I was trying to say that no, I'm just implementing the law. It's illegal. They said fine, but you cannot just prevent it. Construction has stopped. So what do you want to do? There are government schemes, Indra Awas Yojana, construction houses are there. Because of you, those are not taking place. So you are actually preventing implementation of development scheme, the benefit of which has to go to the people. So this comes up. Then I didn't, but I said nothing doing. If they want permission, I am going to give the permission. Permissions are here, they have to abide by the law. Auction takes place, huge trucks start, but beyond permissible limit. One day I was just sitting in my, around 8 o'clock in the night in my house. I just heard a lot of noise, trucks carrying big noise. I just saw those are sand trucks, 25, 30. Immediately drove, caught those all 25 trucks which were beyond limit and just put them in my office. Tomorrow morning, I just find them each 30,000 per truck, something like this. And that was the highest at that point in time in Maharashtra. Nobody had found this much. Because there is a calculation. This is the market price. So there was hue and cry, illegal, arbitrary, 30,000, nothing. I said, okay. If you are saying market is less, let's go for 25,000, nothing less than that. The problem there I identified, if I keep those trucks waiting for, say, next 2 days, they will be broken because huge weight is there. They just cannot stand for days together. And that was my strategy. Let them not pay. They will have much more financial losses because of the breakage of the truck itself. So they had to pay. So that was the highest ever. And this started streamlining, whether it's on caste certificate or on civil supplies or water supply. And within 2 months, people were happy. They were appreciating. Media was happy. They were getting the news. But vested interests were totally upset against me. And I get a letter in my tapal threatening to blow up me by Naxalites. Written in red ink, they claim that that is a blood. But I didn't know what exactly, whether it's sort of blood or something. Of course, police investigation took place in that. By that time, police investigation was finished. I was already transferred, so I didn't know what happened to that. Threat saying that you will be blown up. Don't mess up with us. You are messing up with caste certificates. You are blocking the caste certificate, which were actually bogus scheduled tribe certificates, which I prevented from giving. And I was not rejecting, I was closing them. So once rejected, they will get it from appeal. So I closed the files for lack of evidence. So for everything, I had to find out a solution. Just imagine 2 months in your job. You are trying to improve the system for the benefit of the common people, which is your mandate, by the way. As a public servant, you are supposed to do that. You are supposed to do that. You are supposed to execute the policies of the government. And what I was doing, actually I was doing that. Not just in letter, but letter and spirit. It's very easy as I am doing this, 10 to 6, file clearer, no pendency. This is a job. And I always make a difference between a job and a role. Everybody does a job. Everybody. Even a beggar also does a job. He's begging, he's doing a job. These institutes cater to the education. Classes are taking place on time, they are delivering lecture, conducting exam, declaring results, job. Role, create the citizens, that's the role. Public servant, doing the job is one thing, and performing your role is different thing, and I always insist and try to perform the role in whatever capacity I am there. The question is, are we as a citizen, are we as a student, are we as a civil servant or a public servant performing our role, or are we just performing our job? Most of us might do job, but not necessarily the role. So as a student, many of you might be studying for civil services. Now, there are a lot of news, UPSC is in a lot of news because of this, that. MPSC has always been in news because of this, that. So your attempts were right, your name was correct, whether UPSC is right, wrong. There will be issues and they have to be questioned. If there is something wrong, it has to be rectified. There is no question about that. The question is, what is your role as a student or as a citizen? Are you part of the corruption? Are you part of the misgovernance? Are you part of the status quo? And then still say that injustice is being done, there is no development, there is no growth, and government is responsible. The question is, government is who? You and me? As a public servant, yes, I am part of a government. As a citizen, you are part of the government. Your job and my job does not finish by just voting. Constant vigilance. Government is accountable to you, as are public servants. And as a public servant, civil servant, I am accountable to the government and through government to you. Are you performing your role? Or are you questioning status quo? The topic I chose after discussion today is a Quit India Movement Day, 1942, 9th August. That was a change from the earlier policies by the Indian national movement led by Mahatma Gandhi. Quit India, Britishers were told in no uncertain terms, you have to live, otherwise we will not allow you to rule us. We want to govern ourselves. And ultimately it led to independence. When is our Quit India movement or quit movement of status quo? Are you going to say, quit status quo and let's walk the change? Let's make the change. Let's bring out the transformation. If you don't question yourself, the status quo, if you do not have the courage, if you do not have the character, you are not going to make any change either for yourself or for the society. So today, I leave you with many questions than answers. I gave you my example, that to first one. There are a lot of nuances to that will require a lot of time. But some other time you can discuss that. I am leaving with a simple question. Do you want to be change maker? If you want, start with yourself. Ask the question, quit status quo. And if you really want to make the change, you have to have character, you have to have courage, you have to have vision. And you need to walk the talk. Because you will get, आपल्या महाराष्ट्रामध्ये म्हणतात, बोलके सुधारक आणि करते सुधारक. समाज म्हणजे MPSC, all those who student there, social reform, there are different type of reformers. Those who are can only talk, those who actually do it. Though there are different uses of it. People need to talk, but just not talk is not enough. So if you want to see the change, bring the change in society, want to develop India, want to look at growth trajectory, and want to make us proud by making India a powerful country, powerful society, make yourself powerful. That's the message I want to give it. Change yourself, be the change maker, and see the transformation in yourself and the society. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your life journey with us and how important it is to question the status quo. What you said about whether, how as a citizen, are we performing our job or a role is something that we all need to dwell on. Your address today has truly been inspiring to all of us. We now move on to the question and answer session. I request the students to kindly raise their hand and introduce themselves and the institute they belong to before asking their question.
Hello, sir. My name is Nikhil. I'm from Symbiosis Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Museum and Memorial. I want to know about your preparation days. Your preparation days, do you have any backup plan or option B?
See, what I can tell in different way. The first question you should ask me: did you have plan to become IAS? So I didn't know what was IAS. I thought I was in Jilla Parishad. As an obedient son, obedient student of the school. So whatever I was taught, I used to do it. Farming activities, and happy-go-lucky type of a person. So I didn't know what was the purpose of education. But because my parents, my particular father, enrolled me in the school, so I went to the school. That's it. But this idea was imbibed in me by my elder brother. So I didn't have any idea. Then he, in my case, you have to become collector. So I didn't know what was the collector because I never had been to district based in my 10th standard. I never had been. I think only once for scholarship examination. Otherwise, I never had traveled. I didn't know what was TV looked like, something like that. I did not have this. Those were in late 80s and early 90s. My graduate 10th is 91. So I didn't know by that time what exactly is education, what is this competitive exam. I didn't know whether Sanskrit was a subject in the school or not. I never knew until I saw that in timetable there is a Sanskrit subject. Because this was not Jilla school, there were not options like that. So once you said you want to become collector, collector is so yes, as if it's just something, just like that. So then I did graduate. 11th, 12th I did science on his advice. Then he told you have to do go to social science. Those subjects you will take in UPSC, so do it. Graduation, post graduation I did follow. After that I prepared. I got through it. Did I have alternative plan? Yes, I think when there is a what I can say, once you cross a particular age limit, you feel that you should be independent. My sincere advice: you should have multiple plans. That's okay, but you should focus on one plan, but with time-bound manner. Because I'm seeing 7, 8, 10 years people are students are studying and getting, some are getting, some are not getting. That's a sheer wastage of time, talent and energy. Mark my words very carefully. That's why when I was speaking, I said I don't address competitive exam on exam. That's the reason. You see my any speech I have not given except one, that too where I address against it. I never attend any, there are a lot of invitation classes, I never go there. Because I don't want to waste talent and energy of lakhs of students for years together. If you want into civil services, first ask question, why do you want to join civil services? You should ask me. Why? To make money? Please don't come. To fame? Please don't come here. Really. There will be people who will give other way around advice to you. You will say that, did you attempt so many? Yes, I did. But I think if I was wise enough, I would not take that much time. I would not waste that much time. Because there are a lot of other opportunities also. This is not the end of the world. This is not the end of the world. You can contribute by being in a private sector also. There are multiple opportunities in public sector also. This is not the only one. So, if you want to do civil services, after graduation, you decide 2 attempts, max 3. Don't go beyond that. Don't go beyond that. Prepare fully. You are 100% for 2 years fully. Isolate yourself. Do it. It's doable. What you need to understand the nature and demand of the exam, which I mistook for first, because I, in third attempt, had gone to interview, but was not selected. Then I took MPSC, which took 4 years. 2001, 2, 3, 4. And then I took this attempt. Wanted to say plan B. Wasted 4 years. Right? I was already JRF holder. I was doing PhD. Then I want to become a lecturer for 1 year also. Then got into select and then I go. So I wasted 4 years. Should I do that? In hindsight, I said no. So plan B should be there. But if you want to pursue, first ask why. Why do you want to join civil services? You want to contribute for public good? You want to be a public servant with the given facilities? And you have that commitment and urge to work for betterment of the society. Yes, you join. But then give 2 or 3 attempts, not more than that. Number one. Number two, when you say plan B, what does it mean? Because most of the time we are doing, at least at that point in time, your graduation is decided either by instinct or by family, not by choice per se. Which should not be the case. Nowadays you have different tools by which you understand that you have inclination towards this field, so you do graduation in this. India has the largest pool of graduate people. At the same way, we have largest unemployed because most of those are unemployed. We don't have the skills. We don't cater to the skills. Even PG, I have interviewed people who are masters in engineering and they don't know ABC of engineering. Really? It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So, find out what exactly are your top 1, 2, 3 options in your career, which you want to do, which you will enjoy, and give a time slot. This is the time I am going to give it. After that, nothing more. That is the way we have to look at it. Did I commit mistakes? I did. But I would urge everybody, because there is so many thousands, lakhs of rupees attending classes, wasting 5 years, 10 years down the line. Then you see movies like 12th and how I did and what I did. I mean, that he happens to be my batchmate. He is a good officer, there's no question. He has come through that. I'm not questioning his character or integrity. But the way it is promoted, despite being a 12th fail, I could become this. That's a movie, that's okay. But he could do it 4 attempts. He may have worked hard, not necessarily worked that way hard. So the question is, there are limited seats. And are you meant for that? That is the question. So ultimately, what are you going to achieve at that? So you should have plan B, but don't waste your time and energy beyond a particular pre-decided time frame. Don't go beyond that. That's my sincere advice.
My name is Riyand Gaikwad and I study in Symbiosis Society's library. Sir, my question is, as a youth, if I'm aspiring to see changes and reforms in the society, so is it important to getting into bureaucracy? And if yes, then how much important it is and how differently does it impact as an individual and also a part of a society? And if no, then what are the other alternatives that are like similar, that can make similar impact in the society?
See, changes start with individuals. Whether you are in a particular position or not, that will make a difference of degree. As an individual, you can make a difference to a limited people. Public authorities make it to the larger level. That's the beauty of public job, public services, civil services. Can bureaucracy make changes? Yes, small. The biggest changes, policymakers, politicians, government. The highest level changes will be there. So if you want to make biggest difference, be politician. And I'm not joking. And when I say politician, I'm talking from positive point of view. I'm not talking about the negative. Everybody has negative and positive side. Every section. Good citizen, bad citizen, good officer, bad officer, good politician, bad politician. So there is no question. Because what is politics? In a democracy, when we say politics, oh, he has done politics, what does it exactly mean? In simple, very, very narrative term, I would tell, politics is authority to make choices. If you are, say, chief minister, you decide this or that. You make a choice. It has implications, this has implications. Now, largest public good or smallest public good, that is where the choice is.
So you want to make the biggest change, you have to be a public servant. See, politicians are also public servant, public representative, bureaucrats are also public servant, right? So you want to make change in public, you have to be public servant. Can private persons do? Yes. Look at industrialists. Has Ratan Tata not made its imprint? Yes, it has made. Is it large, pervasive? No, because private individual or private enterprises will cater to needs of a limited people, limited section or particular sector. Right? For example, symbiosis. Has it made a change? Yes, it has made. Actually, it can be looked at as the harbinger in private education, higher education, private issue. It was not normal in 1970s to think of that. It has changed. So many schools, so many places. Now it may go abroad also. It will go some different schools. It has made change. If public, higher education policies will be decided by public authorities. Now that's why deemed university. Within university, they can make changes. But across state, public authorities. That difference will always be there. That's why the government is there. That's why the government. So you have to decide whether you want to make a limited impact. You have the capacity to make it. So do it. People always say that, oh, nothing changes. So let's be a part of change. If you want to change politics, go to the politics. Nobody prevents you from going to the politics. You need to be just 21 years of age. You need to be a citizen of India, which you are. Contest election, contest on, go to make changes. Right? Why can't we do that? Because then we don't dare to change. That's the problem. And the change begins in your mind. So before contesting election, start voting. How many of us really vote? And how many of us really vote on merit basis? नाही तो माझा काका आहे, तो माझा दादा आहे, तो याचा आहे, त्यांनी सांगितलं मग करायचं, याने आला मला भेटलं मग करायचं. Start compromising. And then as a citizen, same thing. I call it a NIMBY syndrome, not in my backyard. शिवाजी जन्म दुसऱ्याच्या घरात. The fact, that's how we look at it. Unfortunately. अरे खड्डा पडलाय ना, दगड आहे ना, दगडाला असं ओढून तो बाजूला टाकणार नाही. येस, आय कॅन अंडरस्टँड पब्लिक ऑथॉरिटी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. म्हणजे शहर स्वच्छ असावं, नो डाऊट. बस स्वच्छ असावी, नो डाऊट. जबाबदारी कुणाची? पीएमपी. म्हणजे मी पीएमपी मला होतो. बस स्वच्छ असावी, येस पाहिजे. दररोज सकाळी क्लीन करायची, संध्याकाळी करायची जबाबदारी. इथपर्यंत ठीक आहे. पण त्या गाडीमध्ये पान खाऊन थुकायची ऑथॉरिटी तुम्हाला दिली कोणी? रस्त्यावरती कचरा तुम्ही टाकायचा, शहर घाण तुम्हीच म्हणायचं. सो सिविक सेन्स, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऍज अ सिटीजन ही कुणाची आहे? किंवा बसमध्ये विना तिकीट प्रवास करायचा इज अ क्राईम. आणि मी ज्यावेळेस मग तो 50 रुपयाचा फाईन तो 500 वरती केला. तिकीट पकडल्यानंतर 50 रुपयाचा फाईन होता. आय हॅव रेज इट टू 500 रुपीज. सो दॅट 500 आले म्हणजे पुढच्या वेळेस तो करणार नाही का. एक तिकीट पकडलं 50 रुपये, एक महिना जात असेल तर फाईन येणार ना. 50 रुपयापेक्षा कमी आहे. 5 जर मला 300 रुपयात भेटत असेल, फाईन 5 लागत नाही, 5 घे. दॅट वॉज द थिंकिंग. कोण रिसिव्ह करतं? आपण. सो द क्वेश्चन इज, डू यू वॉन्ट टू मेक चेंज? स्टार्ट विथ युअर सेल्फ. And a responsible citizen, responsible son, responsible brother, responsible student, you start with this, changes will be there. And then if you want to make bigger impact, you have to go on bigger platform. The biggest one is the government. Why? Privately also. See, look at Elon Musk. It's beyond government. He's controlling the government. Why? Technological power. He has the power, he's controlling. That's the transformation. That's Eureka moment. Do you have it? We can bring it. You have to work so much hard. So let's start changing ourselves in day-to-day life. We can make changes in public life as well. But you have to be part of that. Just, as I said, change, question the status quo. We are not ready to question the status quo. म्हणजे या अटेम्प्टला पास नाही झालं, पुढच्या वेळेस आणखी 2 जास्त पुस्तक वाचू. प्रश्न असा आहे की ते पुस्तक न वाचल्यामुळे तुम्ही फेल झालाय का? दुसऱ्या कारण हे कुठे बघायला तयार नाही. सो यू आर नॉट चेंज द स्टेटस क्वो. यू आर नॉट क्वेश्चन द स्टेटस क्वो. फाइंड आउट द रीजन, फाइंड आउट द मलेज, फाइंड आउट द रियल रूट कॉज, and then work out. Changes will be there. If you want to be bigger, you have to go to public platform, whether it's a bureaucracy or the politicians or the corporation, whatever it is.
A very good afternoon, sir. This is Wali Rahman Rahmani from Afghanistan, and I'm truly inspired by your visionary legacy of being a change maker. I am sure everyone here in the room are too inspired by what you have done about the change. So I've just written down my question to be very specific, is about the impact of the policy interventions in your work or in your career. So the question is, how do you balance the immediate need for impactful changes with the potential long-term consequences of the decisions, as we know the procedures and the bureaucratic system, and that too in India, it seems for me to be a bit more complicated. So how you deal and balance that? Thank you.
So that's a really valid question. We bring a lot of changes, but are those sustainable? That's the precise question. How do we make it sustainable? How those are we able to make it systemic? So for that matter, what you require is design the system and the policy in such a way that it sustains over a period of time, taking into consideration needs of the next generation or future generations. How do you design that? The most important tool is stakeholder consultation and stakeholder participation. Just not consultation, it needs the participation. So if I want to design a policy, for example, universalization of education, whether it's a primary education, elementary or higher education, whatever you call it. We have universalization of elementary education till age of 14. So what are the constraints? Accessibility is there, affordability is there, lack of infrastructure is there, physical infrastructure, schools, boards, everything. Funding is there, lack of social infrastructure, whether it's teachers or other things is there, lack of awareness among the parents, affordability by parents, nutrition, right? Connectivity, curriculum. So do we take all these into account while designing the policy? And once taken into account, are we designing the scheme in such a way that it does not deviate from the stated objectives or the achievable objectives? If you do that and design its implementation in such a way, then it is possible. There are schemes. For example, universalization of education. There have been multiple schemes before this also. There was Operation Blackboard and there was Operation Flood for White Revolution for milk. Everything was there. Then this came, Universal Elementary Education Right to Education Act. That was mandatory. So within 3 kilometers you should have school. That's a mandate on the government. Once that is done, then schools, children will be there. Then you have to have infrastructure, teachers, recruitment will be there. The question is, yes, enrollment has gone to 100%, but then by the time we go to 5th, dropout rates are there. We go to dropout rates are there. Why? Economic conditions. Quality of education has suffered. Has it? Yes. Qualitative, maybe teachers training, maybe curriculum. Did we take into account? Yes. Execution is an issue. Resources may be an issue. So when you design a policy, design has to include the requirements of the solution, requirements of the problem and stakeholders. And secondly, the more automated you make it, the better it is. For example, discretion should not be there. Monopoly should be done away with. And transparency should be there. So if these 3 ingredients are there, there will not be corruption. So what is the definition of corruption? Corruption is equal to monopoly plus discretion minus transparency. Monopoly is there is no competition, I'll do whatever I want. Right? There is a discretion, I'll decide whatever I have to do, this or this, I have the choice. Corruption. Minus transparency, nobody knows what is going on. Reverse the order. No monopoly, no discretion, transparency. So these are some of the elements by which, if you are while formulating a policy, you have to take into consideration. Plus stakeholders, the most important part is stakeholder. For whom? The people who cannot afford it. public education. By who? So that then there will be a question: why should we should spend so much rather than spending so much of 3% on education? We can spend on some infrastructure and reach economic development. That is one thought of school. The question is it sustainable? No, because ultimately it's the people. When you say we the people, it's the people who have to be empowered. They have to be productive. When you say growth, it's not only just growth in terms of numbers. It's a growth in economic, social, education, so that they go to a higher level, developed. Latest report we might have read, World Development Report. Next 75 years, even if we grow at this current rate, we will not be 1/4 of the GDP per capita GDP of USA. Why? That's where it matters ultimately, and it matters in every sense. So if you are looking at framing a policy which is multi-stakeholder, taking into consideration 360-degree and including the ingredients of execution, that will be much more effective rather than just uh, for the sake of it, just have policy, there is a food deficit and that PDS is there. That is a short-term intervention. That's not a permanent. What is permanent? As per your population, grow the nutrition demand and supply them, but at the same time, make them compatible enough, empowered enough that they are able to take their nutrition in a way they grow properly. That's how the policy has to be there, and that's how intervention has to be there. So if you design that policy and implement it, because many policies may be good, but implementation is bad. It doesn't work. So in societies like whether it's Afghanistan or any developing country, or for that matter, developed countries. Now this, the concept called EPOD is there. You might have heard in policies, evidence-based policy decisions or design. That has to be there. Evidence has to be there. But at the same time, you have to take into account the needs of stakeholders. If you combine both evidence-based and needs of society, I think stakeholders, we can design it, and in design, execution part has to be taken care of. That will be much more effective.
Today there is a very auspicious, significant coincidence. Today is 9th August, and in 9th August 1942, it was Mahatma Ji who started the movement of freedom struggle by asking Britishers quit India. And what a coincidence that we have with us a person who has a Gandhian philosophy at his heart. When he was speaking on change makers, I was reminded of Mahatma Gandhi's quote, "Be the change which you want to see in the world." So it's a very, very interesting thing. Let us decide that be the change which you want to see in the world. And that is what he also said, that if you want to be world to be honest, start with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Munde. This was really one of the best speeches that I have heard in the series of Festival of Thinkers. We also get very important personalities, but I'm sure my colleagues Jyoti here and Sharvari and many other directors will agree to this. It was really electrifying. I must call you a management professor, because the way you were talking, the way you were explaining with examples, this is exactly what management professors do, sir. They explain with case studies, and you were explaining case studies from your own life. So I think it is really an honor for us to have you here, and I hope this is the beginning of your association with Symbiosis. I would really certainly urge that you should accept our next invitation to be in a MBA classroom where students will then question you and you will find answers to their solutions. So what wonderful statements that he made, that question the status quo. I think this is one message that each one of us, whether a student or some of us, would carry back home, that can we really question the status quo? And he says that don't just question the status quo, also find solutions to the problems that you see in society. so that if each one of us becomes change makers, I think we will be responsible citizens of this country and, of course, responsible citizens of the globe. Thank you very much, sir, for your wonderful talk. And as very rightly said by Dr. Muzumdar, sir, in fact, I was going to say this to end my vote of thanks, that with the Gandhian philosophy at your heart, you are really a change maker. So thank you once again for a patient listening. I know many students wanted to ask questions, but I'm sure it is not Mr. Munde's last meeting or interaction with you. We will find him more often at Symbiosis henceforth. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I request the audience to be kindly seated till the dignitaries leave the dais.